Hi there everyone, it's Kathleen from Kathleen's Craft Corner or Crafts by Kathleen. Today we're going to be making little Christmas ornaments. We're going to be using the same Freezin Fun stamp set that we used to make the shadow box Christmas card. And today we're going to be using kind of the same method, and it's a little bit of a shadow box ornament. You can see in there that they're three-dimensional. So let's get down to the table and see how we do this. Alright, so what I did was I started out with our 3-inch circles, and I glued onto the back of it the Snowflake Splenda paper, and I just want to adjust this light just a little bit. There we go. Alright, so we glued the Snowflake Splenda paper onto the back of a 3-inch circle. I used the Whisper White cardstock, the thick Whisper White cardstock, and cut out the 3-inch circles. And then I took and made 1/4-inch circles out of the rest of them. We're going to be stacking 8 of those on top of one another, and we're going to be adding in acetate for the window. I don't know if you can see that. All right, so to start with, we're going to take one of the circles, hollow circles we'll call it, and we're going to adhere the acetate to that. So I'm going to get out my art glitter glue, and I'm just going to go around the circle, and then we're going to put the acetate right on top of that. All right, and then we're just going to stack up the rest of the circles. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go around each one of these hollowed out circles and stack them up to make it so that we've got some heft to it. All right, so that's 2 of them. Make sure when you're putting your glue on there, you're just putting a thin bead, because you don't want it running out onto the acetate. Although it does dry clear and you really can't tell, you still want it to look as neat as possible. All right, so that's 4 of them. And you have to keep lining them up, making sure that you've got them all stacked straight. And then just, you know, run your finger around that circle, making sure that it's all the way adhered all the way around. I love this little thin tip on the end of my glue. It makes it so much easier to make a nice thin bead. And the tip that comes with the art glitter glue is really nice, but this was a tip I got I want to say at Hobby Lobby, and it was in the paint section, so that you can put it on top of your acrylic paints and use it to write with. But it works so nice for the glue, and I have a problem with the tip from the art glitter glue. Seems to clog a little too often for my liking. However, this tip, I haven't had any clogging issues with it since I started using it this way. And it makes such a nice little thin bead of glue, and the art glitter glue is so nice and thin going through it. It's just, I really like it. I was actually getting very frustrated with how often my other tip was clogging up, but this is good, and if I can ever find it again, I'm gonna grab a couple more. I'll let you know. But it was in the paint section, right there with the acrylic paints. All right, so we've got almost all of our rings here stacked on top of one another. And like I said, you need 8 of these rings. Between number 1 and number 2 ring, you want to put your piece of acetate so that it's framed in, and then stack the rest of your rings on one side. You want your acetate between ring number 1 and 2, and then stack 3 through 8 up. All right, so that gives us a little piece of acetate. All right, and then we're gonna build our scene on our other piece. So all I did, and I'm sorry I did it before I turned the camera on, I adhered my my Snowflake Splenda designer series paper from Stampin' Up. I cut out a 3-inch circle of it, and I adhered that onto a 3-inch circle of the thick Whisper White. And I want it kind of thick. Once they're all done, it's almost like wood. So that's adhered on there, and then we're just going to take another one of those 3-inch circles, and I use the die that you cut the little hills out of, and I cut that 3-inch circle in half, and it's got the nice stitched edging on it. So we're just going to glue that right down there onto our designer series paper, and I think I'm going to go with this at the bottom of this one. All right, and then we take our Stampin' Up dimensionals, and I'm going to use my little penguin here. I've already glued his little snowboard to his feet, and I cut out all of my characters and colored them in before I turned the camera on so that I could make this kind of a short and sweet video. All right, so let's pull the backs of our dimensionals off, and then we're just going to stick him right on here. Okay, and then we're going to glue our piece of acetate on top, or our rings. Now, number 1 acetate, number 2 all the way down to number 8. You're going to glue number 8 ring right up against your designer series paper and the little scene that you've created. All right. Make sure it's nice and even on the back. And then what I did was I took some twine and I cut off, oh, let's see here, 2, 4, 6, 8 inches of it. And I'm going to glue that right here onto the back. Now I want to make sure that where I put the glue is going to be at the top there for the penguin. So we're going to glue this right here onto the back. All right, and remember I said we wanted to almost feel like wood when we're done, so we're going to be putting quite a few of these layers together. So I'm going to take another piece of the thick Whisper White cardstock that I've cut into a 3-inch circle, and I'm going to cover the twine up. Okay, and just make sure your twine's together there. All right, and so far that's what you've got. Let me move this light down. There you go. All right, then after we're all finished, I'm going to take my Wink of Stella. You know how I love my Wink of Stella. It just gives such a pretty finishing touch on things. And I'm just going to go around that number 1 circle with the Wink of Stella, give it a little shimmer. Okay. And then I made some little paper bows, and I'm just going to glue that onto the bottom. Okay, and there we have it. Our Stampin' Up Freezin' fun characters made into little Christmas ornaments. And I guess you could even use them as tags because the back's blank and you can, you know, write people's names on them, and that makes a cute way to have something memorable on the Christmas presents that you're giving out. A nice way to decorate your packages. But all right, so that video was short and sweet, and if you could just hit that subscribe button and give me a like on the video, I'd really appreciate it. And stay tuned. I'm sure I'll be putting together some more videos and posting them. Have a great day.